The single word that best describes Bob is fearless.
He's a free thinker.
Farsighted.
Relentless would be the word.
He's principled. Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Bob Hill was born in Oakland, California, and grew up with the Berkeley Hills and San Francisco Bay in his backyard. He was the first child of Jenny and Victor Hill, the first grandson in the family, and a prize winner from the start. Bob was a sunny California child who talked his way into starting school a year early. He loved learning from the beginning. When Bob was 11, his family moved to Elk Grove, a small farming town in the Sacramento Valley. And Bob became a farm kid, raising cows, chickens, and pigs, and winning prizes once again. Bob graduated from high school as president of his class, picked up another prize, and set off to the University of California at Berkeley, where he majored in math, then medicine, and finally graduated with a degree in psychology. He served in the Army as a medic, came back to San Francisco, and set out to seek his destiny. He didn't have to look far. The next-door neighbor sent him to Western Contract Furnishers in San Francisco, where he fell in love with carpet. Then Bob was recruited by Mohawk in San Francisco, and then he moved to New York for Commercial Carpet Corporation, where he started as regional sales manager, then became national accounts manager, and then all the top executives were fired, including Bob. This was a pattern that was to be repeated. Next came Sponge Cushion, where Bob was national sales manager for an exciting new product that developed unfortunate technical problems, and Bob was asked to close the whole thing down. Bob then moved to Carpetland and to the Midwest. He was vice president of franchise operations for 5 years, and then, on his 40th birthday, he was fired. Again. So Bob decided to open his own store in Plainfield, Illinois, in the middle of a cornfield. No kidding. He named it FCA, and he never looked back.
I was the first vendor to sell him a piece of carpet. You know where we made the sample order? In a bar, in a local bar in Joliet, because there was no place to go. And the bar had unbelievably poor lighting. It was, dark and kind of dingy. It was a bad place, but it was just, like a bar, mood lighting. And you can't see the colors, And, well, what about this color? I said, it's the most gorgeous beige in the world. And he said, Harrington, you would say that about any of the colors. We were laughing.
And that's how it all began.
The main reason for Bob's success is his ability to plan and to carry out a plan. He's quite the visionary.
Bob sees things. Most people get up and if they can see ahead of them, the term down the street a little bit, they're doing good. Bob sees down the street and around the corner.
Probably the main reason for Bob's success is his uncompromising attitude towards achieving the standards he sets for himself and for his people, and his willingness, once he reaches those standards, to set higher standards and try to achieve them.
He's always looking forward. Though he'll discuss the past, what I have found that I enjoy about him is that he's one of the few people I know that will learn from the past, not live in the past.
And FCA just keeps on growing. Today, FCA has expanded to 10 separate businesses and also licenses stores from New Jersey to New Mexico.
Bob keeps his eye on the ball. He's a classic captain of a ship. He sees the horizon.
He works nonstop all the time, whether he's driving to work or in the office or dozing at the symphony, he's working.
People like working with Bob, but it's not always easy.
What's the hardest part about working with Bob? Bob is like a wife. There's days that you love him, and there's days you really don't like him.
The hardest part about working with Bob, I'm trying to stay one step ahead of him. He's a brilliant man, and that's a tough job.
The hardest part about working with him is he knows everything, and even before you present anything to him, he's already got the answer.
The hardest part about working with Bob is just keeping up with him. He goes at a pretty fast pace, and I've got to keep up with that and be one step ahead at least.
There's nothing hard about it. He's a pleasure to work with all the time.
So what's the best part about working with Bob?
The best part about working for Bob is he sees your strengths and dismisses the weaknesses. He focuses on those and lets you go. And that's truly the best.
The best part about working for Bob would be you always know where you stand with him. There's very little room for guessing.
What's the best part of working with Bob Hill? His knowledge of the business and his understanding of the product categories that I sell him.
He always does the right thing, the ethical thing, the proper thing.
He really loves what he does. He wants to improve this industry, and he manages to recognize the talent in people and helps them learn and grow, and that's helped him become more successful.
So, what single word best describes Bob Hill?
I'm thinking.
Complicated.
My one word would be ethical.
Interesting.
Dad.
Can't say that one.
Unmatched energy.
Results-oriented.
His honesty.
His humanity. He's attentive. He pays attention.
Inspirational. He's just inspirational every day. That's the word.